Michael Bagnerick, talk about the difference between a republic and a democracy, 9th, 10th Amendment, and versus this federal government itself captured by foreign corporate interest.
The difference between a democracy and a republic. A democracy, everybody knows, majority wins. But what they leave out is that the minority loses. 51% of the people can vote away the property or the liberty of the 49%. I spoke at a college in Rhode Island. One girl asked me, "Don't you think guns are dangerous?" I said, "No, ma'am, I don't." She goes, "Well, couldn't we vote to take your guns away from you?" And I said, "Absolutely. You can vote that Michael is crazy and dangerous, and you can have a unanimous vote to take my guns away, but then you have to have another vote to see which one of you is going to take them. My rights are not predicated on your being comfortable with it." So in a democracy, you can vote on anything. You can vote to take somebody else's property away. You can vote to limit somebody else's freedom of speech. We live in a republic. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands. A republic is based on law. One person and the right of private property will supersede a unanimous vote. In a republic, the minority is protected from an overbearing majority. So the major difference for you to know is that in a democracy, you can vote on anything, and in a republic, there are many, many things that you're not allowed to vote on. Now, the 9th and 10th Amendments are very important. They actually work together. The 9th Amendment, without repeating it, says that because we have a Bill of Rights, that's not a complete list. The Bill of Rights doesn't say anything about your right to have children, but you clearly have a right to have children. The Bill of Rights says nothing about your right to travel, but you have a right to travel. So the 9th Amendment explicitly says that the Bill of Rights is not a comprehensive list. There are things that you can do by right which are not listed in the Bill of Rights. On the contrary, the 10th Amendment explicitly says that the government is not allowed to do things unless the Constitution explicitly allows it. We, the people, have rights. We give the government privileges, and those privileges for the government are listed in Article 1, Section 8. Anything that the government is doing not explicitly listed in Article 1, Section 8 is, by definition, unconstitutional.
And all powers that are not listed in the 10th Amendment, there's only 3 of them, are reserved to the states or the people. And the 9th Amendment, as you said, clearly states, you know, every common right of a free creature. We've got it all, and the federal government can't touch it. But now the feds are saying they want to push a one-child policy here because it's not expressly enumerated. But when it is enumerated under the First Amendment, how can you have someone who's going to be the Supreme Court justice say, "I'm going to arrest you for your speech"? What a piece of trash. What a tyrant. What an enemy of anyone that loves freedom. Michael Bagnerick, big part of the new film, Don't Tread on Me. Get it first at Infowars.com. I'm so excited about this film from William Lewis and Gary Franchi. We'll be back on the other side of this quick break with Michael Bagnerick. Today, we've covered so much news. We haven't even taken any calls yet. We will take calls for Michael. Stay with us. Your calls are coming up for Michael Bagnerick, joining us via video Skype from Texas for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. Another added dimension of this radio broadcast. Do we have Michael back as his Skype drops? Getting him? Okay. Skype's great to have him via video feed, but it does have some hiccups, but it's getting better and better. Coming up, Texas school demands students submit to intrusive census form. There's no law to do that. All the feds can do to enumerate how many representatives you get for your state is ask you every 10 years, how many people live in this house? That's it. Not, again, there's a bunch of different versions of the forms, at least 4 different ones. One's only 20-something questions. One's 40-plus. We've gone over the forms here. You can go to the census website and read it. But they ask, do you own guns? What type of toilet do you have? How many homes, how many rooms in your house? Do you have heating? And they're asking the kids this stuff for CPS and other reasons. This is scary. That's coming up. Going back to Michael Bagnerick. Michael, we see the public waking up. You know, when you came fourth in the presidential election as a Libertarian Party candidate in 2004, people were starting to wake up, but not like they are now. Are you seeing the same awakening I'm seeing? And are you concerned about the attempt to demonize any type of Tea Party or 10th Amendment, 9th Amendment, states' rights nullification movement?
I do see a huge increase in the number of people who are waking up. A lot of the people that I talk to tell me they've only woken up in the last year or so. So we have the Tea Party, the Campaign for Liberty, the 9/12 groups. All of these different groups are starting to gather people, and this is an incredibly good thing. You and I have been telling people about this stuff for years, and I, for one, feel that they're finally starting to listen to us, Alex. That's a good thing. As far as, do I worry about the mainstream media demonizing us? No, I really don't worry about it, because I know it's not going to stop you and I. But I think that when your ordinary average person goes to a Tea Party rally and they find out on the news that they're a radical extremist, they're racist, they're going to realize that that's not true, and they're going to draw the conclusion that most of what the media has been telling us has been a lie for all these years. So it is a little bit irritating, but I think that having the mainstream media badmouth us is really a good thing in the long run.
Well, I agree with you. They still think that they have air superiority, basically, and no one can challenge them. But when they lie and distort and twist, they're only losing what little bit of credibility they may have had left, and that's why you see all their numbers plunging. It's not just people converting over to the internet. That's happening as well. But they've done national studies that the population trust alternative media 2-to-1 with the amount of trust they give mainstream media. And mainstream media is now admitting they're getting federal funds for what they call behavior placement or brainwashing. Well,
this is just the start. This is just the start with the things that you were talking about at the top of the hour. Webster Tarpley is telling us that it's 6 months to a year. The number of people who are coming over to internet media and to support the Constitution and liberty is going to grow exponentially. We're beyond the tipping point. And at this point in time, it's a downhill slide, and things are just going to keep on picking up speed. It's going to be interesting. Not everybody's going to be able to hold on to the toboggan, but we are pointed in the direction of liberty, and we're starting to increase our speed.
There's a host of issues I want to go over with you, but when we come back, I want to get into the census. They're sending out census forms through the schools for kids to fill out with no congressional authority behind it. Briefly, what is the census? In what role is it constitutional?
Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 says that our representatives and direct taxes are determined by population. And in that same clause, it explains that the census must happen every 10 years. So the census is mandated by the Constitution. That part is true. But as you said a few moments ago, the only thing they can ask is how many people live in your house. Now, frankly, it's in your best interest to answer that part of the census so that we get accurate representation. But as I told a census worker, what difference does it make if the Republicans and Democrats in office, in Congress, are passing the Patriot Act, the Military Commissions Act, the Homegrown Terrorist Act? Then they're not really representing us. So,
absolutely. Michael Badnarik is our guest. He's a big part of the new film, Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Start shipping out on Monday from Infowars.com. Such a powerful film, covers all of these subjects. Available at Infowars.com. Michael Badnarik is our guest. Your phone calls and a lot more straight ahead.